So guys, you join me again today, and as you might tell, well, I stood up a bit too quickly. We've got the car in the air, got a time-lapse set up, ready to go, and today's job is the water pump. So as you can see down here, I have a massive screen wash bottle. I've cut the top off, ready to catch our coolant. Yeah, so we've got a bit of a mix of coolant in here. We've got some of the pressed down universal stuff and whatever was left in the car from the crash. So that's done fine for gearing it about. Now needs to go. Yeah, so we're gonna have to take this off. We'll get this out of the way. I was gonna have to take the engine cover off, but we're gonna go for the intake manifold version of doing this. So yeah, I'm gonna take the intake manifold off. I have to disconnect the fuel rail that's hiding down there. Luckily from factory they did leave space for people to get boost reference, if that's what you want to do. So yeah, we're going to take the airbox out. I think I might leave the battery. I don't think I really need to disconnect that, but I will get this airbox out. That will give me a lot more room, as we'll get this out. And then we'll probably take the, rather than taking the throttle body off, probably take the boost pipe off there. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is just start cracking on with that and throw the time lapse on. So, you might notice I keep pausing and unpausing the time lapse, but as you can see now, we've got our intake hose out, which is that one, disconnected that. These two T30s are an absolute pain. Well, this entire job will be, but I've had to do all that, so I can reach that there, which is a M10, and we need to undo that. I've already got the nut off this bracket here. Do that, and then this should be free. There might be a few more connections way back here that I'm going to have to deal with, but we'll take that as it comes. Also might have to deal with that fuel line. I'm not too sure, so it looks like the injectors on this one are right up here. But this loom that goes to the injectors is disconnected. So, and you just said the GoPro turn off in the background there. But I've got the two 10mm nuts off there, and I've cracked all these T30s loose. Because I'm kind of hoping I can put the intake manifold back on with those screws in, so I don't have to try and fish them in. But you can see the bottom ones there as well. Yeah, so I have to get back under the car, crack that M10. Yeah, and just keep plugging away from there. I think once that one's loose, this intake manifold might come loose. It just depends what this bottom thing's connected to. Now I have undone the line that holds it to the manifold. I did that by making a clearance hole in this bracket, because I don't fancy taking this charge pipe off as well. Yeah, so let's crack on. Yeah, you might be able to tell, but I completely gave up on time lapse and that. And if you don't have anything to plug your intake, use socks. They're tried and true. Weren't really good. I've just gone around and I've wiped the portion of the head here where the intake manifold goes to. So the intake manifold we have here, yeah, so be careful tipping that up, because that'll be full of fuel, which no bueno. And trying to oh, that one doesn't go there, does it? trying to get that off. As you can tell in here, our swirl flaps look okay, so what we'll do is we'll give that a clean up. We do have a brand new intake manifold gasket. Now on that one, so we come over here, we have a 1/4 inch torque wrench. Ta-da! And we are going to be needing this because some of the torque specs are ridiculously small. You'd be talking pound inches rather than pound feet, or a very small number of Newton meters. So opening this up, we've got some coolant concentrate, a new intake manifold gasket. Now this is unbelievably hard to get on very short notice, so I had to get this from Dark Side, and luckily they were able to ship it with 24 hours recorded delivery, which is just fantastic. And here is our new inner water pump, or INA, however you want to pronounce that. But as you can see, it's come with everything. It's come with the belt, it's got the new union. Did order a union just in case this kit didn't come with one. It's also got the new counter-threaded bolt that goes on the pulley through the thing. But we do have a new belt, but we'll inspect the old one, because if the old one's good enough, the old one's good staying on. But yeah, we definitely need a new one of these. So get to clean it a bit more, and then it is time to extract the water pump itself. So we did have to disconnect that from there to get the intake manifold off, which is rather annoying. But yeah, I dumped fuel everywhere. But yeah, it is time to start getting the clips off for these coolant hoses, getting this water pump off, and preparing the rest of the block ready to accept the new water pump. And then it's a case of going in reverse. And contrary to what some people say, you don't have to take this one off. But if you did a me, and you'd taken these ones out and gone, oh, why isn't it coming off? Well, it's two right in the corner. So just make sure you've got everything out. Yeah, you don't need to disconnect that wire going back there, or that wire going to there. I did have to disconnect this. Goes vacuum under the manifold itself. Yeah, a couple of the plugs. I did remove the throttle body from the intake manifold, but I think I'm going to put that back onto the intake before I put that back in, because it just seemed a bit unnecessary to take it off from underneath. Yeah, so it's water pump time. I tell you what, I see why a garage will charge $1,000 for doing one of these. Jesus Christ, that is a disgusting job. And that was just getting the bloody cover off. That bottom bolt there, absolute nightmare. So yeah, need to get the belt off, then I can undo the pump. So guys, we now finally have our old water pump out, and as you can probably see and hear, this gasket is really not healthy. You see, it wasn't touching the block there, and then the gasket's actually worn away. Let's highlight that with the pick right there. So that's not good. We can see as well some dried coolant in there, which is never a good sign. And then some weepage here, and some old coolant crusted round this bolt here. Does also look like the bottom there of this union piece, that joiner there has failed, and if the gasket's gone, oh no, that is just a thing, but that is wickedly rusty. Yeah, either way, not good, very bad, got a leak. Again, GoPro turning off there because I'm not time lapsing. So we've got our new pump, and that's already got these two bolts installed, so we will have to remove those two. The actual pump itself feels like it's spinning fine. Yeah, what a nightmare of a job. yeah, so that's this one out. So we are now going to have to yeah, clean up those mating faces. I do suspect that's why it failed. This old union as well, that should just pop out of there. So I do have some microfibers, so I can clean this up, and obviously yeah, you can still tell it's got green coolant in it 'cause it had the universal stuff. Yeah, to be fair, yeah, it's that tight in there. We do have a new belt, but this original belt's looking pretty good, if I'm honest. It's not really going to bother with that. Did take the hose off this secondary water pump down here, because that was doing my head in. That this entire car's doing my head in. So yeah, fun stuff. Just gonna get as much of this puddle of coolant out as I can, soak up what I can. Yeah, I've just got to crack on. But yeah, I've really got to clean those mating surfaces up, because that is that's not good. Probably have to get a razor blade and maybe some sandpaper on that. That's real bad. But yeah, that's probably why it was leaking. So we did all that yesterday. Got the intake manifold back on, got everything sweet, and we still had a coolant leak, which, you know, with me taking it all back off again. No, and I don't quite fancy doing that. I thought it could smell petrol then, but it's not petrol, it's coolant. So yeah, I'm going to take it all apart again, but I'm not going to take the intake manifold back off. I can't be bothered with that. That was a lot of work. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to strip the front end. I'm going to take the radiator pack out completely and work on it through the car, so I don't have to disturb that again, because that was a gigantic pain in the backside. Yeah, and this front bumper wants to come back off anyway, that kind of thing, so might as well strip it down now. But at least we got the intake manifold flaps done, decarboned. There weren't too much build up around the valves, just a quick brush out, and yeah, at least now that's all good. Yeah, I'm just returning to the rest of it now. It's been quite the problem child, this car. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on with that. So, let it focus. Based on what I can see here, I've still got a bit of mixed coolant. Looks like we've got a leak coming from the union, which looks fun, but that could be old from yesterday. But what we more have is a significant leak on this side, which is the to me passenger side, but the gearbox side of the engine. Yes, that's a bit pants, but we've got the belt off again. Much easier with all this room to work. Yeah, so I'm just going to crack on now, and all my plastic pipes seem to be fine. Yeah, just going to get the water pump out again. So again, you join me as it is going dark once again, but I'm in the rebuilding phase. Have coolant. I've ordered a funnel that will sit on top of there, and hopefully I can burp the system that way. These two screws that hold this plastic water pipe on, I can guarantee they are the two you should leave out until you're absolutely sure that you're done, because they are the biggest pain in the backside. But everything's taught back up. Did put an extra Newton meter on the water pump this time, after taking it all back off, sanding it all down even more, getting a blade on the mating surface, getting a bit of silicone grease and getting that on the union piece there. Absolute nightmare, because you grease it up and then, because you've got new O-rings, it wants to pop back out. Good seal, hopefully. Yeah, not too much else to say. Obviously headlights come off, these come off. That's a really genius bit of VW design, by the way, to get that off of there. This had to come undone. Obviously this headlight came off too. Undid all the bolts for the crash bar. All that came off. Yeah, literally stripped the entire front end down, and then I just lightly bolted the crash bar back up. I could have unplugged the fog horns. Could have unplugged the horns, or literally just pop them off the connector there. But I didn't bother. I just left that on, and then just stuck one bolt in the crash bar. Yes, that's all back together, with some fiddly bolts like down there that you'll not see because it's dark, unless I've got a torch. Oh yes, in my pocket. Yeah, so you got some bolts like there and there, for example. Yeah, with that's 7mm on the original worm drives. Just make sure, obviously your pipe's seated nice, and it's accessible. Now, only just accessible, but I took that plastic pipe back off again. Yeah, other than that, we're not looking too bad. I don't know whether I should fire it up and try and bleed it that way. Also check for like fuel leaks down this way, because we've had the high pressure fuel pump line off, that being the high pressure fuel pump there. But just going back through, making sure everything's plugged back in, like fuel pressure sensors, map sensors, the one for your boost pipe down at the bottom. I've not plugged that one in yet, because as you can see it's got coolant in it. So I'm going to get something to soak all that coolant out of there before I plug that one back in. But yeah, if you are taking the rad pack out, you've got this one, this connector here, you got that one, that crash sensor there. You've also got the temperature sensor there, and it always helps to unplug the radar sensor. And you've got two push-in clips, one on either side. So you join me on day 3. When I first put the battery to it, we did have a small fuel leak from that one down there, so I've nipped that up. Had to do that, which is fun. Yeah, getting the coolant brimmed up. Have heard the electric water pump, secondary water pump go. We're still dry on the sump. Yeah, there we go, electric water pump just gone again. So yeah, I'm actually going to fire it up, stick the heaters on full heat, and just stand by and pour coolant in when it asks for it. Wish me luck. Well, it has been just my luck on this one. Just taking it out for a test drive after doing the water pump, and well, you can hear that. Add a screw, which I thought I'll try to take it out. But yeah, that is tyre kaput. On the upside though, we appear to have, and still have, coolant. Still got it. So let that cool off and we'll top that up as necessary, but it has been on a nice run out, a bit nice and that, couple pulls, all that good stuff, and yeah, so that's coolant done. Once tyre, that's tracking, and that's about it. The fog lights are now plumbed in, they work. Oh, and if we're being picky, it wants a CV boot on that side, but apart from that, this one's done.